sent a message to the coordinators of the Alliance Française within the city of Bamenda to evacuate the territory in the next 48 hours. And as we said, the order to evacuate is not some anti-French sentiment. No, we are not engaged in some pariah anti-French, activity. We are engaged in the liberation of our homeland, and we have noted that the activities of the Alliance Française are inconsistent with the objective that we fight for, and we have communicated in strong terms, giving them 48 hours to evacuate from the city of Bamenda. At the appropriate time, we would determine whether they are able to come back into our territory.
My fellow Ambazonians, good evening to you all, good afternoon to you all, and good morning to some of you that are in places like China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and Singapore, and even some of you that are in places like the Middle East and Persian Gulf. I think it's probably midnight for all of you. So hello to all of you, and welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome. All right. We'll be speaking in Pidgin today. So my fellow Ambazonians, when I welcome, we go to broke the story for today for Pidgin. I get a lot for talk for una about, a lot of things that don't happen over the weekend, a lot of things that happen right now, a lot of things that don't happen before the weekend. So a lot they go on, and I don't come for can give una an understanding of what's things that they, what's things that they go and they shake where it go on for the within the international community, within La République du Cameroun, and within Ambazonia. So a lot they go on, and today on a Monday, make we start the week with some very good tempo. We start the week with some very good spirit. We start the week with really good understanding. All right. So all money plays day. When I come fine, when I come well, we'll get a lot we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about, we'll review a few things, and then I'll give an update for situation that already take place right now as we talk. So when I come well, when I come fine. All right. We go start today. We'll not go to wait. We'll go straight for our conversation, because we'll get a time we'll get for wrap up this conversation. So if you get some person where you want make it get directly involved, when I know say I need the broadcast for Facebook anymore. All right, Facebook for our neck. Okay, like the public they pay Facebook a lot of money, but they make sure say we not bring plenty people them, we not educate a lot of people them, we not we not radicalize a lot of people them. We know for the quest of freedom, for the quest for human rights, for the quest for independence, for the quest for human dignity. All right. So that they pay Facebook and a lot of their lobby firms them, they pay them plenty money for make sure say they begin to shake our account them so that they make sure say will not get a big following. So now with the transition, now for YouTube now, most of our communication will take place for YouTube. Facebook will only be in a place so if you only share the links. All right. My account for Facebook, it don't be blocked for 90 days. So Facebook don't send me a message say for the next 90 days, I know if you go live for Facebook. And they don't tell me say for Facebook that they will close my account very soon. So whatever, I make Facebook do it they want time. But they know it's trouble for what you want to do. All right. So that's what will be for YouTube. Subscribe for this channel. If you never like the channel, like the page, subscribe, because I will come here very often, and sometimes when I know even knows I don't come, when I go only know now after. So if I make all man be up to date, all right. So when I come find, we could start the conversation. I want first of all start by I want salute all our mommy them. When I sabi say yesterday we been a big day where they call them the International Women's Day. So yesterday we been a day them for celebrate the life of a woman, the life of mommy, the life of a mother. So I want to take this time for honor all our mommy them, especially the one that they did for refugee camps, especially the one mommy that they did for bush, especially mommy that they be displaced, mommy that they did for La Republique du Cameroun, because their houses don't be burned, their community they don't burn their community, burn their businesses. So for all those mommy them, will life not be very stable at this moment, but they still find time for say make we honor all them. Mommy, for all we now, I want send we now love, and I want send we now how they talk. I want send we now our prayers, and I want send we now our strength. We did together in one spirit. For all other mommy them for the world, where they get the chance to celebrate, they celebrate for all other mommy them as well. When one mommy celebrate, now a celebration for all other mommy them. So yesterday been a day for honor mommy them, and one of our mommy sent me very beautiful picture for the Ambazonia clothes we don't wear them, and it be very privileged say it picking the sunny flowers and make it celebrate mommy Mother's Day. So I want to celebrate again. I want to thank all mommy them for say they born all we. I want to thank all mommy them say that then the race all we. The well not for day what day today if mommy them not be there. So for all mommy them, as we are picking them, we tell una thank you and we tell una happy Mother's Day. We just passed for yesterday, but now live now continuation of celebration. All right. As we talk right now, for the story for news, the Ambazonia Defense Forces for XXX location, they under an active combat with La Republique du Cameroun for a specific location for Ambazonia. They under active combat, a very intense fight. It go on between the special forces of Ambazonia Defense Forces and other forces them of Ambazonia Defense Forces, where they don't come in for can support the special forces and some of Ambazonia Defense Forces, a brigade. They under attack. Big fighting they go on somewhere right now. I know if you give now the location because La Republique they will use them for send reinforcement for that place. But when that fight don't finish, we'll come back sometime tonight. We can't tell now where the fight will take place and where it go on. So when I put una forces for prayers, when I keep una fighters them for una thoughts, when I send them power, all the blessings where they need them, anything whether you need for invoke incantations of the ancestors. All right. Anything we need for do them, whether you need for knack country juju, knack country drum, anything we need for do them, for send power, protection for the forces then, even though they get all their training, but our own human energy too, our own human thoughts, they get influence for their own motivation and courage and spirit. All right. So when the forces they battle La Republique somewhere, once that battle don't finish and it don't end, we can't give una the details of the exact location and probably send una pictures and videos if those things will be available for we. Today, when at Monday, I also goes down for Ambazonia, And so I want to honor all the Ambazonian people them across the 13 states of Ambazonia. We see pictures and videos where they don't come out from Ambazonia capital city, for the city of Boya. We see how the people for the Ambazonian people them, for Ambazonia capital of Boya, for Fako, we see how today they also carry out a very big ghost town. They observe ghost town for Boya, not only for Boya, but all across Ambazonia. The reason why we emphasize Boya, because the colonial state, it talks they don't normalize things, and for places like Boya, for places like Victoria, where they don't take them, they turn them like almost like part of La République du Cameroun in terms of the population, in terms of the francophones them, where they don't flop all those towns, all right? So the Ambazonian people they woke up today, they demonstrate once again the collective commitment for their defiance, for hold on to their quest for the liberation of Ambazonia, for their demand for total independence, for their demand for total freedom. So the people for Boya will call una cafe for these bold steps una don't take them. Also the people of Victoria una follow the same example. And so all across the 13 states of Ambazonia, for all mommy them, papa them, or business people them, even the people that are civil servants for the colonial states, today all man observe ghost town, so a big victory for Ambazonia when every Monday since 2016, the Ambazonian people, they still tell the world, still tell La République du Cameroun, say the determination of the Ambazonian people, them, it still stand very, very strong. All right, make we go now for the conversation we bring all the way for here. Over the weekend, on Friday, the leader for a war of independence, it be address the Ambazonian people, them, for give the Ambazonian people, them, a clarity of who would they, the momentum where they be built, the new policy where we push on, and place where we want, would they expect make things to be. The leader make one of the most finest speech. With all his speeches, then we don't make them. With all he talk, we always talk with the Ambazonian people them. For all the address, with the leader don't ever give. The one for Friday, that talk with the leader talk and for Friday, it be been the best talk, the best public address where Dr. Ibadan ever give for the Ambazonian people them. It be been one of the best for my own estimation and analysis and how they process these things. Now one of the best address that way the leader don't ever give for the Ambazonian people yet. So the leader for a war of independence, it lay out to the Ambazonian people. But one of the most important things where he talk am, or the comment where he make am, now this statement.
We also sent a message to the coordinators of the Alliance Française within the city of Bamenda to evacuate the territory in the next 48 hours. And as we said, the order to evacuate is not some anti-French sentiment. No, we are not engaged in some pariah anti-French, activity. We are engaged in the liberation of our homeland, and we have noted that the activities of the Alliance Française are inconsistent with the objective that we fight for, and we have communicated in strong terms, giving them 48 hours to evacuate from the city of Bamenda. At the appropriate time, we would determine whether they are able to come back into our territory.
This thing be very important. It be very significant. It be extremely powerful. As the leader talk am, the organization that they call them Alliance Française. Now one of the many organizations them under the French corporation. Una hear fine. Alliance Française. Now one of the many organizations them under which they call and say the French corporation. The reason why they don't move them from Ambazonia, where the Ambazonia Defense Forces and the Governing Council of Ambazonia, we don't give order for the Ambazonia Defense Forces for tell them to leave the territory. The reason, not because as all wanna know where the leader don't explain that for our people then. This thing not be na Ambazonian people, they are hate for the French. Now, just because for this stage of our war of independence, at this critical time, we la République du Cameroun, we na a slave country under the French corporation, they use that system as they don't try for talk say for assimilate the Ambazonian people them, for colonize the Ambazonian people them, for occupy the Ambazonian people them. So for this time, you know, find say this kind of organization them where they promote that culture of assimilation and occupation and subjugation and colonialism. And so since that same organization, it never fit for stand up for hold the Cameroon government accountable or for right for tell them say their crimes against Ambazonia, their human right abuses on the Ambazonian people, it not be acceptable because this organization, they found them under the principles of democracy. If those same organizations like Alliance Française, we are one of the organizations under the French corporation, they not stand under democratic principles. They not stand under for support principles of human rights. They not stand for support principles of human dignity. Then at this moment, the Ambazonian people, they not fit continue for live an organization, make it continue for be for Ambazonia, for promote the French culture. So that's why they tell them may they come out for now, may they come out first, or for promote the French language. Not being at the thing and that way the Ambazonian people they need them now. That's why they don't tell them may they come out, because this war of independence is there for a critical phase. And so we want organization then for be for Ambazonia, an organization they get for stand for justice, they get for stand for human rights, they get for stand for human dignity, they get for stand for shame the crimes and where the colonial dictator of La République du Cameroun it do. It be very important make all the Ambazonian people they know say for all, and when they talk say the Alliance Française for come off Ambazonia, they not only talk say na the office for Bamenda. Every single office of that organization where it did for any place for Ambazonia, they give them 48 hours for close their doors then. All right. The leader also make me be known for the Ambazonian people say the war of independence because of the defeat of Cameroon, because the Ambazonian people don't defeat La République du Cameroun, the territory through that system of making the territory ungovernable. La République du Cameroun don't lost all total control for provide public security, all right? Since they lost control for govern, they also lost control for provide law and order and public security. Because of this defeat, a lot of thief people then, a lot of gangs, a lot of criminals, a lot of proxy forces then, we atanganji create them for use them for do kidnapping for ransom. They profit from our liberation struggle. The chaos on the ground because of the defeat of Cameroon. Because of that defeat, these thief people then, they don't take advantage for that chaos for turn Ambazonia into their criminal grounds. Because of that, kidnapping for ransom, it don't become the biggest business for Ambazonia, for thief people then, for Tanganji, the proxy forces where they create them, and also for forces then where they don't enter for inside a war of independence through infiltrated groups. They don't turn this thing out like their business. So kidnapping for ransom, it don't over plenty, especially for certain areas for Bamenda. And the leader don't call those areas out. Places like Nkwen, now the center of kidnapping for Ambazonia. Places like Bafut, now the center of kidnapping for Ambazonia. And so all the block by block forces where they for Nkwen, and the forces where they operate for Bafut, why would they allow make kidnapping for ransom to go on for a block? Now, when I say when they carry out the kidnapping for ransom, because if a force day for a place and certain activity they did that it take place for your block, that means that you be responsible. You either be responsible or now you to carry out those things. Because if not be now you to carry out those things, if not be now you be responsible, if not be now you to allow them, how those things take place for that consistently for your block. For solve this problem, the leader for a war of independence, he don't appoint the deputy defense chief of Ambazonia Defense Forces, Comrade Capo Daniel, as they don't appoint Comrade Capo Daniel as the big man. Now Capo Daniel now go be the head of the task force for the anti-kidnapping for Ambazonia. So Comrade Capo Daniel now again at two work. It only be the deputy defense chairman chief for Ambazonia Defense Forces, but he also be the chief of the head of the anti-kidnapping task force, or the ZAR as they call him. Yes, yeah, the big man, the big word for Igbo, Nazar. He be the ZAR for the anti-kidnapping task force for Ambazonia under the Ambazonia Defense Forces. They don't appoint a commander, one of the commanders them for the Bamenda Brigade, Commander Pastor. Now he go the lead, now he be the commander for ground, when now he go enforce these new rules for anti-kidnapping for our territory. So now the first two things in this way, I want to lay them out for now, and then we'll go for the story proper. What story for today? Now about for the Ambazonian people then, as the leader lay them out for all we on Friday, for understand, say the international community, it be established now for waiting that they get them from any place. The first thing we get to understand, whether not the United States of America, whether not Great Britain, whether not Germany, whether not France, whether not Russia, whether not China, it no matter the country. Their first goal for any place, whether any diplomacy where they engage in, now waiting they benefit from that process. So the world don't be established now through a system of international benefits for the developed country then, because now the reason that would be developed countries, because they benefit from other poor country then. All right, remember who they set up the rules. Now who they set up the rules, the new rules of the New World Order for 1945. Now these same countries them, they come together and they set the rules of international engagement. Because now then they set the rules, they establish those rules, the rules they be give them, they be establish them, now for give them the dominance, control, and power for the world. So they establish this new world order. So what people need to understand, what it be this world order? The world order, as much as they be established and part of the benefits, now for give people them human rights and things like that, and independence and freedom. But the established world order, now how the big country then, when they create this world order, how they feel benefit for gain total dominance, economic dominance, political dominance, military dominance across the globe. Now the whole goal is. So we the Ambazonian people then, we always fall for this trap. Say the Americans they did it because they preach human rights, because they preach democracy. You know, their primary aim when people that they be killed like for Ambazonia, it go be now for can't save those people. No. In fact, the international system, they like dictators. The international system, they like place where war they. The international system, they like chaos for less developed countries. The international system, it prefer make all Africa And most other small, less developed countries, them, even for Asia, they rather prefer make those countries they be in total chaos. They be in political chaos, in security chaos. They like rather make those countries be destabilized. Here is why. Most of the international system, they profit for some principle where they can say the economic hitman. When I go for Google, when after this, when I go for Google, when I go search the documentary and I want to make all man watch am, they call and say the economic hitman. When I go watch that documentary, for that documentary, now an economist, an American economist, where the US government and the big company them, now how did he use them for crumble good government for small country them and put bad government. Once they put that bad government or any government, we need to listen for what they want me to do. They go use principle of economic hitman for tie rope for your foot, tie rope for your neck. Either you comply with them or they get you out. So that they go buy all our resources them. So now the interest this of the West, now economic gain. And so when a people they not understand, say the world be governed by interest and by economic profits, then most people then for developed countries, most people there they want freedom and independence, they go fall for the trap for the weight for the same West with the benefit on your suffering, your pain, your blood, your poverty, your starvation, your sicknesses and your disease. All right? You did wait for the Americans give you salvation. Salvation will come. It will come from the West under human rights. It will come from the West under which you want them. That's why it never comes since most African countries they gain independence. All right? So what did it go on between Ambazonia, Cameroun, and the international system? Now, a game of international interest. One of the reasons why the colonial dictator of La République du Cameroun, it don't stay for power so long, now because for be for power, all these countries them, it give them very cheap deals. Now listen fine. Biadede, it don't buy this country their conscience by giving very cheap deals. So for example, Maudo talk say a Canadian company where they want sell, Bia go for them, La République will go for them, for buy the conscience of the Canadian government. They will go for them. They go sign a big deal. Say supply we 100 caterpillars. So if Caterpillar is there for Canada, they go now go buy 100 caterpillars. Say they want to use them for fix their road and for build councils then. They don't create now an economic relationship with the Canadian company. So the Canadian government, a role go be now for protect the interest of those Canadian companies. A role no go be about your human rights. When I listen very carefully. So all United States oil and gas company them, all their big multinationals, all right, when their company them, they go sign cheap deals with the Cameroon government, their government will be controlled by their foreign office. They are going on for protect the interest of those companies. So you feel scream about your human rights as much as you want. You feel cry, you feel go up, you feel go down, you feel talk so they do this. No. Because those they are multinational companies then. Now for their own government, it take the pension plan of and the social security of its citizens for invest them for those companies then where they make these big deals, these 10, 20, 30-year deals then. So their entire social security system, their pension plan, now it be based on the profit with this company they fit generate them for those third world countries. So for people like Paul Biya for be for power, for people then like for Paul Biya for be for power, it means a deal will be based will be worth of $10 billion he go look for an American company for say, look, they go come, they can't talk for you, and then he go give them that deal for about 1 billion. But the deal be worth 10 billions. They go only give them for 1 billion. Now they don't get a very cheap deal. And then now all their government now go come and take their people, their pension, invest them for this 10, 20, 40-year deal. Why? Because now it gives them the ability for secure pension, maintain the pension, the social security for their citizens. Then we now understand the economic hitman, the philosophy of economic hitman. For make sure say all these weak countries and weak states, they continue for be destabilized. They continue for they go after change of government like what did happen for Chad, from one military coup to chaos to the other. Because the more destabilized this country they be, the more easier these big Western countries then they go come in because you be so chaotic, no structures, you know, where they feel whole, they feel really talk so okay, they feel parliamentary, they feel do a parliamentary study for say how much this deal be worth, and then they will bring so okay, we want to make other countries them too, other companies, may they come bid for this deal. That's what they do for Canada here. Before they want to give a contract, they go make them be public for that other countries and companies and for can compete. And the one way it give the highest value for the country, now he go win. But for less developed countries, then it need to take place that way. Instead, what they do, they look a soft target and not only one person, not only a minister, a director, go just shit on with those private venture capitalists. They just sign this deal then for back without any oversight, without any evaluation of those contracts, without any evaluation of the terms of the contract, without any evaluation of the consequences and stuff like that. So this is the thing that this way all we need to understand. As a result, now in this for here, the leader make something will be very, very important for the Ambazonian people. And the reason this why I want to bring this thing up. And this. For inside Ambazonia, for the place where they call and say, I think Rio del Rey, for setting for Ambazonia, the British company, with Pobia, they don't go sign one of these cheap deals them for $1.2 billion. All right, a deal will be worth 10 billion. The gear for this English company, for this British company, for only 1.2 billion. Now, in terms of that money, as the leader don't explain them, the reason why they do these things, for this time, we would go through a war process, we would face a genocide, now because they use these things then as conny for by the conscience of the British government. When I hear fine. They give them these cheap contracts now for by the conscience of the UK government. And that's why when I see them, they no one talk straight. They go only tell and say, we are concerned. We don't understand the game. Now a game of interest. Now, the Ambazonian people, they be endowed. God don't bless them with a lot of natural resources. La Republic, they exploit that natural resources for build this army and by the conscience of the international system. They don't buy the conscience of the British government. Now when they don't sign this contract, the leader don't come out. They can't call the British government out. They call this company out. They don't tell them, say, Ambazonia, they under occupation. If you go sign this contract with La Republic of Cameroun, without the consent, the authority, the consultation of the Ambazonian people then, these natural resources, they didn't have for Ambazonian territory, they're not there for La Republic of Cameroun. That contract, it be null and void. That means we don't cancel that contract. Since we will not be ever get any discussion for this contract. And since they start for sign this oil deals them, Since they discovered oil from Ambazonia for 1972, the Ambazonian people, they never benefit for the oil, and all those companies, they pay their taxes and for Douala and for Yaoundé and for La République du Cameroun. The Ambazonian citizens, the locals, they never ever enjoy the privileges of these their natural resources. So this time around with this generation, don't woke up for say they want their country back. The leader don't estimate them. They want to be very important for Ambazonia. Very important. The leader with a team of economists, with the economic team, they don't calculate and say, one Ambazonia, if this contract, they be signed now with the Ambazonian people themselves, every Ambazonia, it go get equivalent of $16,000. That means say every Ambazonia go get 8 million just from this one contract. And then an Ambazonian house, every Ambazonian house, it go get equivalent of $125,000, with an equivalent of 60 million amber for every Ambazonian house. Now their own money that way they go get them from just this one deal. If those contracts they be signed now with the Ambazonian people then, it be very important for Ambazonian people then. We now get to understand what you fight for. God don't bless you with natural resources. Why we be so poor? Why we not get water for drink? Why we not get roads? Why we not get lights? We not get hospitals? We not get even schools? When God don't bless you with all these natural resources, because all this money, it end up in the hands of the dictator and the gangs. That's why Paul Biya are the highest paid president for the world. Paul Biya's salary for 1 year now $566,000, the highest for the entire planet. A small church minister like Atanganji for La République du Cameroun, his salary now $480,000. That means say Atanganji's salary, it plenty past Joe Biden his salary for the whole year. Atanganji's salary, the one now the official salary for paper. We need to talk the one for back. The official salary for paper now $480,000 a year. Joe Biden's salary now $450,000. Atanganji, it's minister for a third world country where an average citizen it live on less than $1 a day. That means an average person for Ambazonia and for La République, the money where they chop them, where they use them for live in a day, it be about 500 francs. But a colonial state minister, his salary na 480,000. That's why they sell the country for take the money and divide them within the 1% of the gangs where they make up the system. Now the purpose of occupation this. Take the people, their resources, create a gang of thieves, a gang of criminals for satisfy Western interest, keep them for that power, keep them for those positions, for benefit Western multinationals, and then begin to commit massacre on the people them, for shut up the people them, for threaten the people them, for weaken the people them, for jail the people them, for kill the people them, for make sure say the people they no go take all these privileges from them. So may you not think say all these things about your life, and about their political interest and their economic interest, and for satisfy the network, the various networks where they benefit from this kind dirty and black deals, where they call and say blood money. Now, I not tell when I say the world is a very bad place. I not believe so. You got to understand the world and then know how to play the game within the world. If you don't understand the world, you go be a victim of the world. But not just because the victimization, that's something that you create for yourself because you not study the system and how to defeat the system so that you become a member of that system for make that system benefit you. Now the whole thing, this is what I want to talk about. That's why the strategy way Dr. Abadon give for the Ambazonian people them. Now for help, forgive the Ambazonian people them the dignity, the life where they never ever get them. That's why they do these studies, prove all these documents them, show them for the Ambazonian people, wait to be ahead of them, wait till they deserve them, wait till the Ambazonian begin to deserve them, wait till Ambazonian big mommy they deserve them in terms of quality care and quality life. Wait till Ambazonian papa they deserve them, wait till Ambazonian youth they deserve them. Will be God don't give with the greatest riches. Now up to the Ambazonian people for take back their territory, reclaim their freedom, reclaim their sovereignty, and forgive their people the quality of life will go be at the highest for the entire planet. Will be capable for doing. The future for Ambazonia be too bright. Just this alone, make it woke up all man for sleep. Make it excite every person. Make you become more committed. This one are only for one place for Ambazonia. Now only for one place where they move oil. Only one place. We need to talk about the other places then. We don't even talk about Bakassi. We don't even talk about the gold we did for Ambazonia. This one are only one of our natural resource for just a specific place. One. If it change, if it use and build all the kind of university they don't want them for Ambazonia. Build all kind of universities. All kind institutions of technology and engineering. And modern healthcare system. For build roads for every part of Ambazonia. From every village connecting the biggest cities of Ambazonia. Help we for provide our people them with 21st century electric grid. For power every house of Ambazonia. And for every Ambazonian child from nursery school or pre-nursery school to university, and that person will get total free education. And for every Ambazonian, for get free health care with this type of wealth. We deserve them. But our people don't know which they get them. They don't know how blessed they be. They don't know how rich they be. People be so rich, but they be so wretched. People they be so wealthy, but they be so poor. People that they live in a land of abundance, but they starve because of ignorance, because of fear. That's why the freedom of Ambazonia is the key to unlock the greatness of the Ambazonian people. That's why the freedom of Ambazonia is the key way it go unlock the greatness where they don't suppress them within the Ambazonian consciousness. The greatness of every Ambazonian. The greatness of every Ambazonian child. Every Ambazonian girl, every Ambazonian boy. The greatness of this generation. That's why our quest for freedom. Now the first step for reclaim the great destiny where the Ambazonian people they stand on. For most Ambazonians who they're outside. And those the one they did for the territory. There is room for every person for participate for reclaim this thing. Why a people that will be so gifted? Why a people that will be so blessed? But they did live under genocide. They did live under tyranny. They did live under starvation. They be surrounded by diseases and lack of basic water for drink. Basic. The most essential thing for life. The people they lack them. But the people they be the one of the most wealthiest, richest, and abundantly endowed people them on the surface of the earth. Wake up, my people. Wake up. Make we wake up, take our country back. And there is only one solution. No wait for the United States. No wait for England. Buy guns. Buy your guns and arm the people on the ground. The more guns and bullets, the more high caliber weapons we buy them for defend the land, for end the occupation. Now the only time that we go be the sole people them who they feel sign these international contracts on behalf of the Ambazonian people them for the benefit of these natural resources we God don't endow the Ambazonian people them for the people them for reap the benefits of their blessings. So I call on every papa, every Ambazonia mommy, every household for Ambazonia. You not deserve to be poor. Poverty not be there as they talk, not be there a portion for life. Now the occupational system, it impose poverty upon you. Now the occupational system, it impose poverty upon you. You be born rich, but the occupational system impose poverty on you. The occupational system impose misery on you. The occupational system impose unhappiness for your life. The occupational system it impose diseases for your skin. The occupational system it impose your brain with low level of thinking and low desire. You are placed for life, not greatness. As an Ambazonian, you are placed for this ground, not greatness. The way where they create you and the land where you accommodate, now a land of milk and honey, now a land of abundance. You be a person who will be wealthy. You be a person who will be rich. You be a person with abundance is there for your DNA. Reclaim them. Reclaim them for yourself. Reclaim them for your big mommy. Reclaim them for your big papa. Reclaim them for your uncles and your aunts. Reclaim them. Reclaim them. All we get for rise up, for defend the dignity of the Ambazonian people them. For defend our rights. And that will go only fit for do them through powerful structured defense forces. Now for we for multiply the stabilization forces. For Project Ambazonia. Just like when they woke up the Ambazonia Defense Forces, it talks say make alliance française. It commode Ambazonia. What happen? They don't depart because power therefore enforce that order. Una hear? Because there is power on the ground for enforce that order. And consequences they when any person disobey that order. You start for make yourself an authority will be respected by those systems. Those systems they need you. But until you put yourself for a place, for take back that power, demonstrate that power, project that power, be respected. This company, New Age, for England, all right? This company, Jewel Afrique, now when we start to tell them, and we'll get the means for stop every single exploitation or exploration for Ambazonia, will be powerful enough as the new owners, the authority for Ambazonia, for dictate what will happen for inside Ambazonia. We must make the world make it know our place and who they control the land. No person, no company, no go ever go sign a deal with La République du Cameroun for Ambazonian natural resources. And Cameroon for know this. They go take that money, but the Ambazonian people for their land, they go enforce the law of Ambazonia. Make Cameroon carry those companies them, go sign deal for La République du Cameroun in Ambazonian territory. The time where they go use our natural resources for keep themselves for power don't pass. The people don't rise. So now we understand the game of the international system. So when the year people that they talk say, oh, why be say the United States of America, he put out embassy, put out a tweet. We don't understand the game. But what did they actually give them? The Americans don't make them very clear to the colonial state. They play na tabala with them. Americans play tabala with Pobia because they wait for the Ambazonian people them for show strength and power. The Americans they wait me Ambazonia, they show strength and power. Americans they wait me Ambazonia, they project themselves above La République du Cameroun on the ground. Because the power, it control how diplomacy work. You make yourself powerful, they go invite you to the club of the big players of the globe. You make yourself be a beggar, they go push you for become a victim of the international system. And you go, she don't protest and cry till the next 10 generations because of the lack of courage for exert your own right as a human being. Because of the lack of courage of those you consider your leaders for help you, for reclaim yourself. Because of the lack of courage of colonial apologists and infiltrators where they don't buy them for derail you. or buy them for water down the resistance. That's why the generation must rise above the politics and see what did really happen and follow what did work. For take the people them to the finish line. The forces they be ready. Yesterday, I talked with a great general for the state of Manu. I chatted with the forces them for the state of Manu. Between 2019 and 2020, these forces, they will be a sister force of the Ambazonia Defense Forces. For one straight year, the Ambazonia Defense Forces is supply these forces, provide them consistent job, education and leadership, and when I be see action for Manu like that, for 1 year straight. Then some small people they go for back. They go scatter these boys them. Over the last 6 months, the general don't help for bring the boys them together. So when the infiltrators them, they use a strategy. When I know who the infiltrators be, I don't want to call their names, but all when I know who they be. They go come for outside here for tell some of their people them, their followers say that they still get where they follow them. They go make this their announcement. Say the one call for lockdown, una lock down that road, una lock down that road, una lock down this road. For punish the Ambazonian people then. And destabilize our liberation. They did do and so with the hope, say one of the block by block forces them, they go take them upon themselves for enforce that law, with the hope say that the work na for Ambazonia. And the thing this will happen for the state of Manu. When the infiltrators, they can call for an indefinite blockade of the roadway they come up Bamenda for go La Republique and the roadway they come up Manfe for go a cock for a cock road for go for Nigeria for Ecom. They can't announce them. Somebody block this road then. Because of what dominance for the state of Mezam and most parts of the Savannah states will be fit for defeat that narrative, for punish the Ambazonian people them, may they not do international trade, and for make these infiltrators the one punish what drivers them where they make living, now for carry people them transport them between those highways. But these people them, this group for Manu, they actually by themselves, they think say this thing Ambazonia don't call for, they don't know say they're infiltrators. The general gather a boys them, think say they say now an Ambazonia policy, they go implement the 10-day lockdown of a cog road for Manu. I want to tell the Ambazonian people, the commander, the general, where he go implement that blockade for Manu. Now a great Ambazonian general where he had a clean, now for fight for the revolution, for fight for the liberation of the Ambazonian people then. But that general and the forces, they don't get any contact whatsoever with the infiltrators. They need to work for the infiltrators. The infiltrators, they never give them one bullet. Not for talk of one cup Gary. But not just because when they hear those things, they think say it done for the benefit of Ambazonia. So the general put the forces for enforce that 10-day lockdown for the state of Manu. With the understanding say it do so now for the benefit of the Ambazonian War of Independence. Not knowing say it do so now for punish the Ambazonian people for the state of Manu, for punish Ambazonians where they go buy things from Nigeria, carry them, can send them, bring them from up to Bamenda, They don't know say they do them, they punish our people them economically and for help they picks them or the infiltrators for things say they get soldier they will work for them. Now the system this, now the connivance of the infiltrators, they can make this blanket statement and then they pray to God, say make some block by block forces, they go carry out the action of implementation, then they should not take the credit. And they bring this thing for an understanding. And for showing the video of the general and the forces them, but for the security of those brave Ambazonian fighters and soldiers, for the security of those, I don't want to show their faces, we don't want to show what the soldier, their names them, their face them, because we know say the colonial state will use them as intelligence for go after, you don't know what I mean. All right, for go after their families, for go burn their homes, for go after their uncles, for go after their aunts. So that's why I for put them for all when I hear. But I want to make when I know, saying that the connivance of these failed groups, this group then will not get voice again for a war of independence, for these infiltrators where the Ambazonian people don't defeat their narratives, now the connivance way they use them. They can't make all these things for outside here, just so that some block by block forces they did away, they need to get good education and they go carry out some action for implement these acts of punishment on the Ambazonian people. Then. I hope say as tomorrow they come on a Tuesday, May 11, that 10-day go pass, as the general promised they go open that road tomorrow. We don't educate these forces, we don't educate the general, we don't get a great conversation, and we'll continue for provide quality education, quality leadership, and for assist those forces and for assist that general for them for align themselves with the hopes, the aspiration, and the dignity of the Ambazonian people them under total command and control structure where it would make them become effective, powerful, and respected. The forces from Mavas, we don't hear what you want to call for, we don't hear what you want to ask for, and we don't pass on our messages to the leadership of Ambazonia Defense Forces. They go be in touch with Una. Una continue over the last 1 week. We don't see the great action we Una don't carry on, and we understand the situation we Una did. We only call on all forces them. Say after 4 years of experimentation, you know if you fight on your own and win. You know if you fight on your own and succeed. All the forces on the ground, they get for align themselves with the political aspiration of the Ambazonian people them under the Ambazonia Defense Forces and under the Governing Council of Ambazonia as the leading movement with the speak internationally for the Ambazonian people them. And the Ambazonia Defense Forces as the leading force for liberate the land. If you fight for some place on your own, your actions they no go get much meaning politically for the aspiration and the independence of Ambazonia. If you not fall under a political leadership where it go take all the work where it do as a leverage for a war of independence. For gather all una power together and put them for the international community for the collective freedom of Ambazonia. We not stop for give the infiltrators political power for weaken the war of independence. Any group, any soldier, where after 4 years, you still want to go fight under the people the way they destabilize Ambazonia, promote kidnapping for ransom, promote tribalism. They need to give una, they raise money, they use una name, raise money, but una never ever see one bullet. Una never ever see one gun. Then, I don't know Wait till I tell you. If after 4 years your head is never clear, I don't know what I tell you. When I come under institutions and organizations where they get when I interest for heart. When I be under organizations so they fit take good care of una. I see good soldiers yesterday for Manu. I see good generals. I ask myself, say, where? And they don't even get boots. In the middle of rainy season. And they don't get chop. But they want fight for Ambazonia. And they fight for Ambazonia. It's not correct. That's why we need to make this progress we want time. Because that person will do his own thing for that side, and those forces they will do their own thing for that side. Nothing be connected. That's why these things they take a little longer. Things they get for be coordinated and connected. For concentration. Things they get for be connected and coordinated for a concentrated victory, for a concentrated assault on the colonial system. You know if you fight on your own and win. And no soldier, no commander will ever be great when you be isolated. But your effectiveness, your power, your usefulness, it be more effective if it produce more results when you fall under a system, an institution, and an organization where you get an oversight, they take good care of you, when they plan with other commanders and other generals, so that your action for your own block, it be connected to the action of the next block, it be connected to the action of the other block, and all will strike at the same time. Bam! When plan together, when coordinate together, and when jam the enemy simultaneously from different places. Now the effect that we will need them. And that's why they call on all forces them. After 4 years of deception, manipulation, and misuse and abuse by infiltrators, by politicians, we not align with ourselves with an effective leadership where you understand what it means for be a soldier. So that when first, they take good care of una. For ensure, say, on a monthly basis, every barrack get chop for chop. The soldier, they get clothes for wear them. They get boots for wear them for go fight. They get better uniform for wear them. Especially for rainy season. For keep themselves warm and protected in the forest. You get an ideology, you get a roadmap, you get a strategy. Will be connected to the overall plan of the liberation. Will you fight for? And your actions to be connected. You know, so you not be alone. You know, so you get other commanders, other fighters. You get a whole chain. Where you feel call your brother for the next block. You say, boy, they plan this attack. We need una backup. We need una help. Una plan together. Imagine the forces for Eyimojo and the forces for Mansfield Central and the forces for Upper Banyan. Imagine if they coordinate together. Imagine if all them they coordinate and launch powerful assaults on the occupier. But for a commander not be for Upper Banya, commander there for Manfred Central, commander there for Imojo, and any man did do his own thing in isolation. You not feel ever win and succeed that way. In fact, you make yourself become a target to the enemy. We now come together under the Ambazonia Defense Forces so that we will become more effective for shorten the process of the liberation. Because now the only movement, now the only institution where it don't prove for all Ambazonia beyond any reasonable doubt, any man where he head clear inside, any man get a clean heart. After 4 years, you go come for the natural conclusion where I don't prove we don't educate enough since 2017. And now when I don't get 4 years of experience, the evidence is there for our face. The evidence is there for every man he had. Not be carried away by disappointment. Not be carried away by disappointment. But be inspired by what he did in front of you, what he don't prove for work for all way, what he don't unify all way, what he move all way forward, what he produce results for the forces. Just the last 2 weeks, when I know how many thousands of bullets they don't provide them for the ADF forces, because we're in the middle of it, if we tell now. When I know movement of materials with the enter ground zero through the ADF, just in the last 2 weeks alone, thousands of bullets, they don't enter the territory. And then you go to hear soldier go to cry, oh, when I send me small package for bullets. Come under an effective leadership. The ADF no go to support isolated one-man commandos, one-man commando force, because you want to be a King Kong for some block. With the support groups, soldiers and commanders, where they want to become more effective under structural leadership. With the building a state, with the building a nation through systems and structures where they guarantee effectiveness and results. So in conclusion, I want to tell what people say, the state of our war of independence is very high. When I get great hope and optimism, good things that happen for ground. There is power within the system where Dr. Abadan built for the Ambazonia people. We go unleash the beast within the ADF. We go to unleash the power we do already build for ground zero. A lot of good things that will happen this month of May and the month of June. And I want to predict for all now, the colonial state will cancel 20th May. With all the evidence, we'll get them. La République du Cameroun of host 20th May. The shame of the defeat. They go use the pretext of coronavirus for Paul Biya for cancel 20th May, just like he canceled 11th February. All right? In the coming days, the war council of the ADF and the political leadership of AGOFC, he go can announce to the Ambazonian people then what will happen. I think by the end of this week, now they get a communique from the leadership of Governing Council of Ambazonia, from the office of President, from the office for the leader for War of Independence, and for the office for the chairman of the War Council for ADF. They get a communique for what is going to happen. But just as a prediction from all the indications, because of the defeat, la République du Cameroun, they get 100% from all indications, they will cancel 20th May. All right? We know that one. For we as Ambazonia, that one not concern we get for focus on what matter for all we. The colonial state don't be defeated. Even people like the colonial senators like Belamoki, who don't hear say that they put their hand for head, that they cry. Say, hey, Pobia. What you do Anglophones and so way? You don't go get a special status. We know not, there's a special status. We hear say that some Belamoki they cry. Yes, they never cry, they never see nothing. Ambazonians, una woke up, una rise up, una support una stabilization forces, una support una forces, una give them what they need them. They get the power, they get the training, they get the education, they get the roadmap for their hand. They don't promise for give una a free homeland, all what they need them for una, now una support. Una give the forces what they need them, una get a free homeland very soon. Cameroun don't be weak. We don't defeat them. We don't destroy them economically. We don't disgrace them internationally. They don't get any footing anymore. Their army, they run every day. What you remember from Ambazonia, now for we, as a people, for no say, they say, we're people that deserve a good quality life. We're picking, they deserve a good quality education. We're mommy, they deserve to go for better hospitals. Sisters, they need for born with good doctors then. We're people that deserve good living conditions. They deserve quality water for drinking. So we as a people, we owe ourselves this. We need to wait for America. Not wait for America, not wait for France, not wait for England, not wait for Joe Biden. Don't wait for anybody for your freedom. Now we must take that freedom and then they will recognize you if you project power. If you not project power, you go be a beggar to the international system. You go be weak. You go be poor. You go die in misery. Power gives you everything where you don't already get them. When I hear, if we not project power for the next 200 years, the people, they go die in misery. They go die in poverty, in diseases, and they go die in starvation. When we project power, as we build them, we go reclaim the land, gain our freedom, give our people them long life, give our people them healthy lives, make our people them rich, make our people they enjoy the abundance of this world, make our people drive for better roads, live for beautiful communities, live for beautiful homes, build beautiful businesses, for use the sense where God don't give them. They create inventions and discoveries. Develop new technologies for solve environmental problems and make our people then they live a life with dignity and abundance in a free homeland. The life will be worthy of living. We'll get a chance to make that difference for all. And this generation, especially the people of Ambazonia. I talk one final thing. Tapang Ivo, I want to give credit. Tapang Ivo, we don't talk. Plenty people, they climbed for a head 2 years ago. For 2019, Tapang, it talks to every Ambazonian where you not pay a liberation, I don't know what I feel on what you don't make a liberation commitment. When you go for ground zero, they go arrest you upon arrival. I support Tapang idea back then. The only two I not be supporting are the one we talk say when they go there, when you go, they will catch you until you pay your bill before they leave it. Only that one I not be supporting. Now, I want to come for tell Ambazonia and say, would they keep receipts? Every Ambazonia will contribute their money. Would they keep a data for all the people them? We God already bless una for this Oyibo land. But we not decide as Ambazonians for tie una hand and wash una, for tie una eye them, wash una hand them from una commitment for the liberation of homeland. I want tell una say today I want add my mouth for what tap and be talk. Every single Ambazonian for this time for a war of independence, where you need to make your commitment, your contribution for the liberation of homeland. Would you tell the forces? Would you keep all the documents? You know we enter ground zero. If you not make, you need to pay your commitment for the liberation of homeland. This time when mommy that is sleep for bush, our sisters, our pikin that is stay for Nigeria, that is starve. Your heart don't turn a stone. You no one support the liberation. Make you know say you no go enter ground zero. I go push this thing until it become a policy for the governing council of Ambazonia. Any Ambazonian, especially the one the way they do very well for diaspora, if you not pay your own commitment for the liberation, you need to make contribution. You go remember for diaspora. Even if liberation they come very soon, because we can't end the liberation phase. You go take your plane, you come reach Ambazonia, you go back to a place where you come out. We go push this policy until it become an official policy for the governing council of Ambazonia. Soldiers enough to fight for ground zero. Mami that is stay for bush, Pikin that is stay for bush. You there for diaspora. You get a good job. You sit down for fine house with your family. When they live in comfort. Others that is stay for Pikin that they not get chop for refugee camps. Prisoners that they suffer and die for prison. And you fold your hand, you sit down. You talk say, I beg when I carry down a thing go. Because you want to be a friend to Paul Biya. Because you want to buy ticket to go La République du Cameroun, go sit down for Yaoundé. Go chop bunny fish or Douala. Because you want to be able for travel. You cannot serve two masters. Every Ambazonian family for diaspora, you get an obligation, a cultural, a moral, a social, whether not religious today, you get an obligation for you and your family for make una own commitment for the freedom of homeland for everybody. The failure for Duam, the day whether not you, your woman, or your pikin, you want to go for Ambazonia, the people they will ask you during the liberation, what you be doing for the Ambazonia people? When you start to tell stories, oh, I be giving money for that people them, oh, I be contributing na for there. Oh, I be the support me na. I be the send my money for refugees them. Me I no want me warrior. I be just give me. I be just send me na close them ya. No man will hear that story. Oh. No man no will hear that story. And even if after that time you want can pay $20,000, it could be meaningless. We know what take them. The authorities on the ground, they know what take them. The people, they need you now. Mommy and papa, them for diaspora, when I hear me fine. I go make audio today. Any Ambazonian family for diaspora, you must contribute for the liberation of Ambazonia. If not be so, sign yourself off as an Ambazonian. Because after the independence, you will come home. You know, leave them. Fighters, they fight without chop, without boots, without uniform. You can't shit on the comfort of your own home in the secure environment. Nice car, nice home, nice chop, nice environment. And you know if you move $1,000, you know if you move $500 for GM, for save the lives of other people then. For all the young boys them, we will not own a just for chop life. We meet try the chopper. Maybe we know say we not own contribution. Contribution no day, there's no entry to ground zero. It go be an official policy. We go get zero tolerance for people who they not get compassion for the Ambazonian people them. Zero tolerance for people who do not care for the suffering people them for ground zero. For the soldier who they sacrifice every day. They want not be a threat to anybody. Not just an idea where I want to start for supporter for the liberation of homeland. We don't appeal for everybody. Now we go for these policies. Just like other countries that be doing. You know if you stand on the sideline in the face for this kind of situation where people they go through. You know if you also be neutral in the face of genocide and ethnic cleansing. My message is this. Why plenty people that they overcall me? So what did they go on? I don't know what did they go on. I'll check my phone first. A lot of my very close people don't call. I don't know what did happen on my phone. All right, people them for ACN. People that they talk say my this thing not get volume. So now una check what did go on. We don't get a lot of complaints. Say volume not there. I don't know whether volume don't come back. So all right. So I'm gonna leave them for you for today. Make all man stay fine. When I continue for commit, when I continue for support on our forces, when I continue for focus on the strategy, we're very close. We don't hear anything like any propaganda like the public it make them. For place where they very fine. We'll beat them hands down, we'll dislodge them for any call where they did it. Alright? So we'll talk on against more time. Now for now, I get for sign out. My time don't finish. My work for today don't be done. I want court cafe for all the forces then. The one who they fight at this moment. What prayers they will now will update the public very soon. May God bless all man. When I get a good night, when I stay focused. If anything they we go define way for communicate with now, whether not for night, whether not for morning, whether at any time. Alright? We therefore enough for serve the public, and for serve the forces. We therefore enough for advocate for the forces, advocate for the refugees, advocate for the one who did it for Bush, advocate for our prisoners of war, and for advocate for the freedom and for the independence, for the self-determination of the Ambazonian people them, our homeland, and we get the right to decide on our own future. And we don't decide on which you get for be. May God bless our man. And I get a good night.
Hail, hail, hail the Land of glory, with the Ambazonia, pledge our loyalty. Praise the Son and Savior who granted us the freedom, allegiance to the heroes who bought the land with their blood. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Yeah, in the nations, flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation and joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, we shall live in our midst in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, we shall live in our midst in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above.